Councillor Paul Sharman in studio today, Councillor for Ward 5 in Burlington, and we're discussing first off the LPAT and some of the decisions that Burlington's made as a result of Council's decision the other day.
Oh, with respect to asking the province to dump LPAT?
Correct.
Yeah, I guess the question is how much we expect to accomplish with that. You know, we listened to Steve Clark at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario speak just last week, saying we're not doing anything with that because we have to provide housing and increase the population and increase the economy of Ontario. And on that basis, we have to make sure that we have influence over where properties go and where development occurs. And we need to speed the whole process up. So I think that, you know, the mayor was listening to the wishes of people with respect to downtown redevelopment in terms of wanting to slow it down and recognizing that maybe growth around the GO stations is okay. But the fact is there's an urban growth center that was declared in 2006 in downtown Burlington, and I don't see that going away. And therefore I don't see LPAT being anything other than involved in any other choices.
Now we know the slogan behind it is obviously more homes, more choices. Do you, sitting on council, believe that this is going to be true and that we'll actually see housing prices drop or more affordability for, say, those single dwellers?
Affordability in Burlington is very sensitive to location. Downtown Burlington, close to the lake, is clearly desirable property, and market forces prevail. So I don't see downtown ever being a logical place for affordable housing unless government's going to put in substantial funds. I do see affordable housing elsewhere, providing we have height, because we're built out and land is expensive.
Now, speaking of height and development, we know for a fact the beginning phases are going to be happening in the downtown core for the development that's taking place directly on the Brant Street location as well as onto Martha. Can you give us an update now, your opinions on that and what people should be aware of as that development starts to really gear up?
Well, as the development occurs, we're going to see other developments downtown, which means that managing traffic and managing the way in which the work is done and where the trucks are routed and things like that are sensitive matters. And I know that Councillor Kearns has been on top of that, and staff are working with her and the applicants to make sure that it's reasonable.
I mean, there's no denying it's going to be quite an interesting experience, and we already know traffic's bad downtown. It's only going to be probably 2-3 times worse now with the traffic for the construction as well.
It could be an alternative view that we can keep traffic off the highway out of downtown, and we could attempt to have traffic go along Plains Road and down that way to get on the QEW and not coming through. So the thing about traffic is that the more you impede it, the more it goes somewhere else. So actually it may not be worse. It will be frustrating because of the developments, but the cars won't want to go there.
And what about noise and obviously any disruptions for residents that are down there? We know that there's also the retirement home that's down there. Maybe seniors are concerned about it. What's your input on that?
I'm sure people are concerned about it. How bad it will actually be remains to be seen. You know, people in Toronto are very used to development. I assume that there's a lot of discussion around that. But you know, people fear what might be, and they adapt to what is. Right. So we'll find out.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, quickly, can you just touch upon the regional review? We know that this is also a big discussion in Burlington as well.
It is, and you know, both council, region, and city levels have passed motions declaring the adequacy of our management and our governance, and I voted in support of those. That being said, we don't have any insight to what the Ontario government is planning. I can say this with some clarity, that we do have duplication of activities between the region and the city level. And when you think about the fact that the region is expected to grow by 60 to 100%, so from 500,000 to 1 million in the course of the next 20 to 30 years. And the region of Halton is already managed by the councils of the sub-level municipalities, the low-level municipalities, so Oakville, Burlington, Halton Hills, and Milton, are already around that table. Looking into the future, the growth is in Halton. So we actually need to be way more focused on the broader needs of the region because it has to change. And that is because provincial policies will prevail.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Great pleasure.
And again, if you have any information that's needed or you want to have a conversation, you can do so with Councillor Paul Sharman at 905-335-7600 or email paul.sharman@burlington.ca.